his entire band to Carriacou. He took his entire band to Carriacou for kayak mass to contribute to the development of that product there as well. And many of the people who played mass in Carriacou will remember Mr. Bain coming up there with his boat of masqueraders to play mass with the people in Carriacou for kayak mass. And that is something, a great contribution that he made to the cultural art form, to the mass art form in Grenada and Carriacou. Now, Mr. Bain was very generous with his time as well and his expertise. He had plans also to pass on his skills and talent, because we spoke shortly before his illness, and he had plans. Well, we were talking about how we can actually pass on the skills, and he was very enthusiastic. He was ready, willing to pass on his talent and his skills, because he said, Mr. Jacob, I'm getting old and we cannot let the culture die. We have to pass it on to people. So he was always looking at how we can pass on his skills. Mr. Bain, again, he was the kind of mass band leader who would just call Spice Mass office just to check up on the staff, how you all are doing, and then he would come with an idea that would not more so to benefit him, but to benefit the entire product. So how can we improve the Spice Mass product? So these are some of the things we remember Mr. Bain for.
And so much so that even though his band, for example, I still don't know the name of Peter's band. All I heard people talk about, is that they are playing mass with Peter Bain.
Yes.
They're playing, who are you playing mass with? And say Peter Bain. I'm playing with Peter Bain this year, So he was so large in terms of what he actually was contributing and making affordable to people, for example, who we will consider to be the marginalized in society. He made it very affordable to them so that there can be mass participation. And also, I'm glad you touched on the traditional mass, because this is something that is really dying in Grenada. And there needs to be, and I know Mr. Jacob basically will shed some light on that. I'm not preempted, but I know he will shed some light on that. But he has made sterling contributions in terms of the cultural retention, because we need a lot of that in Grenada today. How can we retain? Because it's an erosion. There is a cultural evasion that is taking place, and also an erosion of traditional mass and so forth. How can we retain? And I think Peter would have been contributing significantly to that.
Another factor is also that a number of cargo that was moved by ocean was also moved on a passenger network. The COVID crisis ensured that the world global connectivity through air transport was fundamentally shut down. So all the freight that was carried under the wing of the plane or in the belly of an aircraft was automatically reduced. So we had about 97% reduction in air cargo capacity from the start of the pandemic to, say, about July of 2020. So that fundamentally reduced our ability to move stuff globally.
I looked at the index called the Galactic Dry Index. I tend to have a tendency to look at these indices and look at individual prices. So I actually saw that there was a 300% increase in shipping costs, ocean freight rates from, let's say, December last year, 2020, on to September this year. So 300% increase in costs is a lot. So from a consumer point of view, we know businesses, producers, no one wants to actually absorb these increasing costs. So more likely than not, they will actually pass on these increasing costs to the consumer. So there will be an increase in cost in consumer goods. And a lot of the times we actually, in the Caribbean, we import raw materials to produce different goods, to produce a lot of different goods. So there will be an increase in raw material costs. There will be an increase in, let's say, the the cost of producing finished products. So there will be an increase in the cost of goods overall. So more or less, we're going to see inflationary pressures in the Caribbean region. Now, I want to also touch, before I actually go in detail on the impact and potential solutions, I want to touch on another thing that is contributing to the inflationary pressures from the shipping side. So we also see the COVID pandemic causing a lot of supply chain disruptions. That is correct. We also see that there was the COVID pandemic has caused a lot of ports to operate below their full capacity. Apart from that, we also see because of when the pandemic occurs, that when the workers test positive for COVID-19, we also see a disruption in the port activities.